Have you ever felt fear take over your body? Your chest tightens, your heart races, and suddenly your dreams feel impossible. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. It feels like invisible chains that hold us back. This is the story of a young man named Sial, who set out in search of the secret to overcoming fear, and how a meeting with a wise sage changed his life forever. Sial lived in a small village near a forest. On the outside, he looked strong, but inside he was afraid of speaking up, afraid of chasing his dreams, afraid of failing. Whenever an opportunity came, fear whispered, "What if you fail? What if they laugh?" And so he stayed silent, letting life pass by. One evening, after yet another day of regret, Sial made a decision. He had heard of a sage deep in the forest, said to hold the answers to life's hardest questions. So he packed a small bag, said goodbye to his mother, and stepped into the dark woods. The path was difficult. Trees grew taller, shadows deepened, and strange sounds filled the air. Every rustle made his imagination run wild, but he whispered to himself, "I must find the truth. I cannot live like this anymore." Finally, he reached a wide clearing. At its center stood a massive tree, and beneath it sat the sage, his silver beard long, his staff resting across his lap, his presence calm like still water. Sial bowed deeply. "Master, I am tired of living in fear. Please tell me, how do I defeat it?" The sage opened his eyes and smiled gently. "My child, tonight you will not only hear the truth, you will live it." The first test. The sage led Sial to a rope bridge over a roaring river. The plank swayed in the wind. Sial froze. "What if it breaks? What if I fall?" The sage said calmly, "That is fear's voice. Step forward, one step at a time." Shaking, Sial stepped onto the bridge. The wood creaked. His fear screamed louder with each step. But slowly he reached the other side. His chest swelled with relief. The sage smiled. "Do you see? Fear told you a story of falling, but reality told you a story of strength." The second test. Back at the clearing, the sage placed a clay pot before him. Something moved inside. "Reach in," he said. Sial's stomach twisted. "What if it's a snake?" But with trembling hands, he reached in and pulled out a harmless frog. The sage nodded. "Fear punished you before anything even happened. Most dangers live only in the mind." The final test. For the last test, the sage led Sial deeper into the forest. Soon, glowing eyes appeared. It was a wolf. Sial panicked. "Master, we must run." But the sage stood tall. "No, running only gives fear power. Stand firm." Sial's whole body shook, but he remembered the bridge. He remembered the pot. Slowly, he stood tall, locking eyes with the wolf. After a long growl, the wolf turned and disappeared into the shadows. Sial gasped in disbelief. He had stood his ground and survived. The sage placed a hand on his shoulder. "Now you know. Fear is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Each time you face it, you grow stronger. Do not hate fear. Thank it, for behind fear lies freedom." At dawn, Sial walked out of the forest. Fear still followed him, but it no longer ruled him. He had learned the secret. Fear is not a wall, but a door. And on the other side of that door was courage. So let me ask you, what fear is standing in front of you right now? Failure, rejection, the unknown? Remember Sial's lesson. Fear is not the end. It is the beginning. Step through it, and you'll discover the courage that was always inside you.